Hi, Cosmic Sisters. I am here after having just cleaned and sorted all my kitchen cupboards, which I did wonder at one point, is this going to send me into labour? It hasn't, however. I do still have quite a few weeks. Officially speaking, 6 weeks, but potentially less due to my age. And the doctors wanting to prompt a baby along in various different ways. Anyway, I wanted to just talk about pure spirituality in its essence, because often we we're always talking about spirituality here, but often it becomes diluted or distracted by things that are going on in our lives and how we read spirituality through that. But I just thought, let's have a little think about what is it that our beliefs are. And yes, those beliefs might be fed through our creativity or our imagination or experiences of death and loss. It may also be that, obviously our spirituality sits amongst our crystals and our tarot cards and the retreats we go on. But underneath that, what's the truth of that? How are those things? They're just expressions of how we come to understand spirituality. And I'm wondering how often any of us actually sit with the idea of our faith, of our God, of our goddess, of the things that we believe in, or the fact that we believe that there is something more beyond the here and now and the seen and understood through our senses. And I don't actually have an answer for this, other than the fact that it's an exploration, isn't it? It's a vision quest that we undertake throughout our lives, this seeking sense, this trying to find glimmers of possibility, glimmers of faith. And sometimes we lose connection too. It's interesting because when I was away on holiday last week, I felt very grounded, very human, very much in the moment. And I, at the same time, kind of felt disconnected from spirituality or whatever it was I think that might be, or what I might have thought that was at some point previously. And hadn't really felt like there'd been any signs, or hadn't really felt like there'd been any interesting events, that I could put down to being fortuitous spiritual ones or anything like that. It just felt very human, very, very lived, which is important too. But I was kind of not questioning my God or anything like that. I wasn't having an existential crisis at this time, but I was just like, oh, where is it? I just remember thinking to myself, I was in the passenger seat and everyone was doing their own thing, and I was thinking, where is God? Where is the goddess? Where is that light, that faith in my life right now? Because I love nature and I'm connected to nature. I'm connected to my cards. I know they work. I understand that there is processes beyond conception that are working in our favour quite often, and I do have that belief. But I'm like, where are you? Is kind of the question that I put out to the universe, and very quickly had a response. Just in my own mind, the words bubbled up, and that's sometimes the best way that spirituality connects with us, is through our own thoughts. And the response that came almost on the other side of this, that felt like a different part of my entity, a different part of my body, a different part of my mind. And it was very clear. It was like, look inside. Like, your spirituality is inside. And I took that to mean, in this instance, in the most part, my baby, and the fact that I'm growing a baby. And actually, I came to understand that there are times in life that are so intense that even spirituality doesn't impede, because the spirituality is in the moment of the creation, of the gestation. So that doesn't just apply to being pregnant. It can apply to the concentration it takes to start a business, or the energy we need to plough into an event that's occurring or unfolding within our lives. And we might be like, God, where are you? God is in those moments, goddess, whatever you want to call it. Spirit is within us. It's within us. It's doing the churning and the changing. And I thought, wow, well, the baby is the amazing metaphor for that, but that metaphor carries through into any moment in time where there's an intensity and you feel like you're left somewhat on your own with it, and you're like, where are you? Where are my signs? Where is my numbers? Where is my this and that? It doesn't matter. Those things are external to ourselves in many respects. And so if they're not showing up, it's probably because you need to be right here. Like maybe all my energy is going into building a baby and being quite tired and exhausted and achy at the age of 44 doing so. Just as for you, it might be the act of working on a relationship, or saving your business from the brink, or working through kind of expressions of your children are challenging, or there's loads of different ways that we have to be within the intensity and this growth and this change, and it's fundamental to it. And it's almost like at these points God, goddess, faith, divine, divinity moves inward, and it supports us from an inward place rather than through signs and symbols and numbers and tarot cards. Those all things all help. Actually, I did take a few cards on holiday, and they just felt a bit bland, a bit like meh. And I think again it's because the work that was necessary was the internal work. So I think that's what I want to talk to you about spirituality at this precise moment, is that it's flushing through us, it's doing things inwardly sometimes, and just because it isn't showing up in rainbows and white feathers and fireworks and interesting connections or coincidences doesn't mean it's not happening. Sometimes it's completely invisible, but it's intrinsic. Anyway, I feel like I'm lecturing you. Let me know if you feel that though. Perhaps it's something that feels really true for you at this moment. Anyway, what I'm going to do is just see what the cards have to say in reflection of that. And I'd like you to sit with that for the rest of the week, really, is to just try and locate your spirit. Where is it? And if you can't find it, is it because it's deeply within you at the moment, doing something? And what is it it's doing? Please let me know in the comments, honestly. It is a safe space. Okay, so this deck today, benefit. Perhaps that's where our spirit is right now. Our divinity is working to our benefit, which I believe it always is. And just, we like to see the evidence, don't we? We like to see the evidence of where that benefit is showing up. And sometimes there is no evidence. It's in the unseen and in the unknown. And we have to trust that as much as we have to trust that the next day the sun will rise and we will step into the day alive and well. So, interesting card. I'll take a card now for the Cosmic Sisters, just a generic week ahead card. It's an Ace of Cups with a great big fish flying out of it. I do like the Ace of Cups. It's a new beginning and it's a new emotional beginning. And perhaps that's a little bit where our faith in our divinity is working us towards a new emotional beginning. And it's working on creating the shifts and the passages and the paths that are relevant and needed for that new beginning to spring forth like a trout from a goblet. Sometimes the best emotional new beginnings are the unexpected. That's what I always think of this fish. You don't pick up your goblet to drink a mouthful of pike or trout, do you? However, sometimes in those things that we don't plan for, that we don't see coming, the relationships, the friendships, the connections, there's often an unknown quantity that is the magic. It's like, okay, I didn't want this, didn't ask for this, didn't see this coming, didn't plan for it, whatever, but there's a new emotional start. Sometimes it's just so much as understanding yourself differently. So have a little think about what your emotional new beginning is at this moment. And I'm going to take one more card see where we're headed. And probably get back to my cupboards. Right. Let's have a look. And I'm going to book us in. Oh, this is perfect. I'm going to book us in for a live session very soon. So probably try and do it next weekend so everyone can be free. So have a little think. Transition. So based on what we're talking about, kind of where is God, where is the divine, where are we going? And it's things maybe quietened down, and there's this emotional surprise and unexpected new beginning that's on its way, and God and the goddess and whoever is working for our benefit at the best of time. It's all to support transition. I mean, I can definitely sit with that. My life I feel like I have this life that I'm familiar with and I know, and there's a whole other life being placed on top of it, but I'm not there yet. I'm in that squishy in between bit. So what are you in between? Which two parts? The known and the kind of known but unknown? And how are you like the jam in the sandwich at the minute? And how is the divine the jam in the sandwich too? That's a great metaphor. Oh, you can't see it till you bite it, and then hopefully it tastes good. We're in transition. So I'm going to end this because I don't know if it'll let me upload if I talk for much longer. But I hope this was a helpful and useful chat to think about those things that are working for you right now, or consider where your spirit has vanished to. She ain't gone anywhere. She's right here sorting things on your behalf. Bye.